I ain't never really gave no fucks, and I ain't never really had no love. For your boy really got that shit out the mud. Shorty got some shit that make it bust such a drum. Every day I give it, I ain't never give it up. For your boy, that shit be on plug. It's straight like that, so my body put it up. It's straight like that, short standing on business. Work a bitch out like we at Planet Fitness. Saving myself, focused on my delivers. Focused on these other ways I can get it. Still got no time to relax with you bitches. I sound like a motherfucking Mac when I'm spitting. I count up these motherfucking racks till I'm in it. My will will be dirty, you won't be forgiven. I let the chicken shorty too hot, better get out the kitchen. I'm swerving up in my own lane, I ain't slipping. I'm beating them beats, I'm so deadly, they giving. It's crazy to me that y'all living. Spend off of the time I should live in the ceiling. Count up this one while y'all think that I'm tripping. Shorty and beats need at least show a passion. Fucking shit, I'll take my tricks and I'm master. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Run up on me and I'm fucking it up. I got a baddie, she got a fatty. Calling me daddy, bitch got a problem, send me the hattie. I got the Mac in the back and I'm keeping it tucked. I pull it out now, put it back. Talking on bitch, run up on me and I say we on Gucci cologne when I'm stepping on songs. Yeah, I'm breaking the back like that. Run up on through and I swear you get whacked. If you got a problem, you can send it up. I'll call my brother, we fucking it up. No fucks, and I ain't never really had no love. For young boy, had to get this shit out the mud. Shorty got some shit that make it bust such a drum. Every day I give it, I ain't never giving up. Young boy, that shit will be y'all plug. And straight like that, till my body put it up. Straight like that, short standing on business. Work a bitch out like we at Planet Fitness. Saving myself, focused on my delivers. Focused on these ways I can get it. I'm to relax with you bitches. I sound like a motherfucking when I'm spitting. I count up these motherfucking racks till I'm in it. My will will be dirty, you won't be forgiven. I can tell that the chicken shorts out here and all that good shit. So, what's good? Welcome back to the communication station with your boy Schwetzel in the cut. We out here fucking had to cover up my fucking window. That's where I'm situated at right now. The fucking sun is shining directly on me, and I fucking ain't doing that shit again. We did that shit last time, and I was in here fucking suffering. I was in this bitch suffering for a while. So I opened up my other window, and I fucking put this bitch up. Only problem is looking at the flat. But anyways, today what we getting into is practical application with religion. We gonna talk about that shit, and also give some more context clues so y'all can understand it a little bit better based on the my previous two uploads, my previous two live streams, the Luciferian Satanism and demonology concept. When we get into shit like that, same thing plays out within Christianity, but we gonna get into that here in a second. First thing that we gonna do is we just gonna break some shit down and chop some shit up based on just some shit that I want to talk about real quick. Know what I'm saying? So anyways, I before we get into the main topic of the video, I'm just gonna give y'all some basically relationship advice. And if you're a person who conduct yourselves in a certain manner, or you're a person who make content online, you're into certain maybe more occult type of things that isn't necessarily common knowledge, or people might not even understand the terminology that you use a lot of the times, just be aware. A lot of the times, like, especially if you're a content creator or you just be around people a lot and shit like that, and you start to understand things in a certain way, and you start to utilize certain terminologies and shit like that. So a big thing that we all need to understand whenever we're somebody that is outside the normal rigmarole of society, and we're dealing with people who are within that, what they're going to do is
they're going to peep game from you from a distance. Even if you're around these people on a day-to-day basis, they're going to peep game of your energy, how you're able to handle things, how you bounce back from every type of situation. And they see that whatever it is that you doing whenever you're alone, they see how that shit actually worked for you. You get what I'm saying? Beyond, even if you a person like, don't get the lines blurred, even if you're in a fucked up like monetary situation at the moment, uh don't get the lines blurred with that shit and think that that this isn't necessarily what's going on because you don't have money or some type of status at the moment, or you don't have a certain type of career that other people may want or want to be a part of or some shit like that. Whatever it is that you doing to have like richness in life aside from maybe even having riches monetarily and shit like that, you need to understand that people will notice how that shit worked for you. Like everything is always taken care of for you. Like you don't, even if you don't have money, you still able to make shit happen. You still able to do the shit that you want to do. You still, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. They a peep game from how that shit work for you, and they'll start to try to like copy and reiterate the shit, or what's the other word that's along the same lines of that? I was trying to look for like another synonym for copy because I had seen a word that I wanted to use at some point, but I forgot what that word is now. But a lot of people will try to copy that shit. So just be aware of it, because people will be noticing how shit work for you, and they'll start to try to do the same shit that you into and copy you, but they don't have like the true essence of understanding how you do, of what you had to go through to even learn them things in the first place, to be able to come outside your mouth and express yourself in certain manners, to be able to represent certain characters and shit like that. People people will be missing the real wisdom of it and just take it as a light that they can put onto their spaceship, as far as a piece of information that they can utilize now because they know that it worked for somebody else in the environment. You see what I'm saying? And this plays out into a lot of ways. Even if you are a person who's outside the norm and you got your money situation together, I'm sure you're going to be in a situation where this shit is even at a more extreme, harder level for you, like how people be copying shit and shit like that. And what you need to realize too is that when you express yourself to people in a certain manner, especially if you're a person who has like strong, healthy boundaries, and you not necessarily gonna let somebody play with you in certain type of ways, and you not necessarily gonna get involved with people in certain type of ways just because they're a person or some shit, and you're not gonna necessarily give a person all this extra grace and shit like that just because they're a human being or something like that. You know what I'm saying? People will actually get to the point where they'll try to utilize the way that you move against you. So you'll be in situations like where somebody will start to try to utilize the same terminology that you use, shit like that. What I'm saying, to combat you in some type of way and try to act like they understand something in even a more sufficient manner than you do. But this person knows at the end of the day, behind closed doors, the only way that they know about that shit is from reading something on the internet or watching your content or being in a situation where you're around them and you start to bring up certain things and bring up certain talking points and viewpoints and shit like that. And you'll have a person try to flip this on you and be like, oh, like, and based on how you move, like, if you're not at the same level as me, we not gonna be around each other and shit like that. Now you'll have a person who really isn't at your level, but they're gonna try to make it seem like or appear like or give the feeling like they're ahead of you in some type of way, and that you are lacking and you need to catch up now. And that y'all are at two different levels, but they ahead of you. So we need to separate because I'm ahead of you, and it's okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's okay that I'm ahead of you at the moment because I'm healed in this certain type of way, or I've done this certain type of shit, or da 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 da, this and that, this and that. But that's not truly what be going on. That's not truly what be going on at all, especially when you get into a person's mind state and the shit that they predicate themselves towards when it comes to when it comes to certain things, as far as society, how they think and view things, how they what they manifest. All you need to do is look at what a person manifests, the attitude they have towards life, the attitude they have towards themselves and shit like that. You look at that, and that should be your indicator to tell you, like, okay, is what this person is saying uh actually true at the moment? Like, is this something that I need to do, step back and take some more introspective work into myself, and point the finger at myself and look more deeply within me? Or is this something that is just solely on this person, and whatever they're expressing at the moment is more of their problem than it is yours? So just pay attention to shit like that. Don't be a narky individual and immediately disregard everyone and just think that, okay, just because this person is more quote unquote worldly than I am, they are more societal than I am, they, you know what I'm saying? They maintain the societal image better than I do. Just because they're in that situation don't necessarily mean whatever they're saying does not have any validity to it. So always be in a situation where we're looking at ourselves first, but don't also be in the equilibrium mind state, so that you don't get in a situation where you're blaming yourself and being extremely hard on yourself for shit that ain't necessarily your responsibility to bear that, because you know that you've already, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've already worked through that shit. You already know what you're doing based on how your experiences have went and shit like that, how you have cataloged things, how you've organized your mind and shit like that. Like, don't automatically be an narky individual and just disregard everyone, but at the same time, don't be an individual who just think like, okay, just because another person outside of me said it, like I need to extremely believe that. Because a lot of times, even if that is some type of issue for you, or some type of character flaw or some shit like that, or something you're still struggling with that you might need to change or some shit like that, need to pay attention to, because a lot of times you be dealing with people who don't really fuck with you like that, don't really love you or care about you like that. So a person would do some shit like the old saying, make a mountain out of a molehill, and make something appear to be much worse than it actually is, based upon how they want to choose to feel about whatever it is that you're doing at the moment. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't get lost in that aspect of being like completely self-sacrificing to just the environment and how people view you, and how, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if that might be some shit that you do need to like look at and be aware of and maybe tweak a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Don't think like, okay, it need to be overly tweaked now because this one person who is extremely sensitive to that energy, or these couple of people who are extremely sensitive to that expression, how I carry that energy, how I make that frequency and vibration be seen and played out in reality. Let me go ahead and over tweak it to the extreme now and make me bitched out in that area or some type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of y'all get what I'm saying based on that breakdown. But yeah, don't get caught up in it, because that'd be extremely sensitive and lazy ass people anyways. At the end of the day, they ain't got the strength to actually deal with people, or go through dealing with problems with individuals and shit like that. So they gonna be extremely playing the victim card and making it extremely like you the bad guy or some type of shit, and you need to do all this fixing and working on yourself. Meanwhile, it's really, yeah, that might be something you need to look at, but that's more so of their problem and their own sensitivities and insecurities and shit like that. Like, for example, I seen some funny ass shit on the internet the other day, and this shit be a whole sentiment too. Okay, so there's this dude named Trax NYC, and shout out to Mooney Mercury baby and Grace Anna in the chat. Big shout out to y'all. I don't know if Grace Anna be making any videos, but y'all know Mooney Mercury baby be making videos and shit like that. Anybody sub to me, y'all go carry y'all's asses over there and subscribe to Mooney Mercury baby. And also, just another tidbit notification. Big shout out to Schwetzel. We're fucking eligible to be mon now. Get my numbers up. I was looking on the earnings report and shit like that. Like, they're giving me access now to be able to post ads in my shit and all types of stuff. So it's just a matter of getting some more watch time, and maybe getting some more, I can't remember exactly what it was saying, getting some more hours of watch time, and getting some more subscribers. Once I get up to like 500 subscribers, and then there was some one other type of eligibility thing, then I'm in there, and I can start posting ads. I can start I think accepting donations or some shit like that through the YouTube framework and shit like that. So yeah, big shout out to me for that. We fucking on our way and shit. But yeah, so I'm happy about that. But anyways, so this is a whole sentiment when we get into the worldly aspect of this shit. You know what I'm saying? I had seen there's a dude on the internet. He be on Instagram making videos a lot. His name is Trax NYC, and he make a lot of like gold necklaces, rings. He's into jewelry heavy. Buying gold, buying diamonds, buying silver and shit like that. So he make pieces for a lot of people. Like he's made pieces for a bunch of rappers, made pieces for political figures, made pieces for like Mr. Beast and shit like that, like all types of stuff, right? So he had posted a video the other day. Well, I don't know if he posted it the other day. I had seen it the other day. Put it that way. I had seen one of his videos the other day where he had made a Star of David chain for some type of Jewish person that's like well known or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Made one of those, right? And I'm gonna tie another piece of information that I seen just so y'all know, like this wisdom ain't coming from nowhere. Like you know what I'm saying? Like there's shit that I be seeing going on in the world that just let me know and point back to the right type of space that you need to be in. So anyways, so he give the chain to this Jewish person, right? And I don't know where he was at. He was at some like big ass public event, right, or something. And Trax was saying to him, what do you want to say to the people or whatever? So he put the chain on him and shit, iced out fucking Star of David and shit, big Cuban link gold shit on his neck piece and shit, neck dipping and all that shit. Big Jewish fucking what do they call them? Mud cap joints they be wearing on their head. So he was wearing that shit. And he said, what do you want to say to the people? He said, I just want to tell the Jewish people that we don't need to be afraid anymore or some shit like that. Like he didn't necessarily say it in that exact wordage, but he said some shit like, I just want to tell my Jewish people we need to be more prideful. We need to be proud to be Jewish and all this shit, this and that. Now, if you really pay attention, you pay attention to the sentiment. That is a generational curse being expressed out through one individual who is probably being used as a puppet right now, but just peep game because he's in the Jewish categorization. You know what I'm saying? He claiming Jew or whatever, right? So he tell his people that we need to be more prideful to be Jewish. We need to be proud that we Jews and shit like that. What that is covering up the lineage of insecurity. You get what I'm saying? That now all this shit has been exposed through multiple generations and timelines now, and y'all having like real spirits being down here now and having real angels being down here now and shit like that. Now the energy has shifted. These motherfuckers have no choice but to try to clean it up now, because y'all know based on history and shit like that, everything that they do, they show you what they gonna do in some type of subconscious or some type of symbolism type of way before they even do it. So that's what's going on with this aspect. The Jew is trying to clean up all these years of insecurities and shit like that. Even if that shit is working for him and he's becoming less insecure as an individual and helping other people become less insecure as individuals and shit like that. You need to understand where the sentiment come from. That is him being able to view it and be like, oh yeah, our people has kind of been bitches for the last how many ever years. You know what I'm saying? Our people has kind of been bitch made. Like we wanted to be Indians and shit like that so bad that we became ashamed to be Jewish. You get what I'm saying? And we became ashamed to be small dick and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the sentiment of what be going on. Now, it's another content creator who be on the internet who make heavy religious Christian type of videos, right? And somebody who is a Jewish individual came up to him and was having a debate with him along the lines of Christianity. And this is like the main basis for most of this dude's content. Like he go to college campuses and shit like that. Meanwhile, he like 50 years old and he like debate with a bunch of people who just got out of college class, probably ain't read the Bible 100,000 times like he has. And you know, it's just a gap in and age don't really matter. You can have much more wisdom as a younger person, but still, not 90% of people who are going down the college path anyway. They need some type of leadership or something, and they ain't really got their own mind together and shit like that anyway to be able to even be in the space to have some type of healthy debate with somebody or some shit, right? So, but that's besides the point. That's just something that I observed based on that, right? But he was having this debate with a younger Jewish person, right? And so the Jewish person was like, so I'm Jewish, da 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 da. What does the Bible say about Jews or some shit? Like, aren't we supposed to hate each other or some shit like that, right? And the dude who makes this content was saying, I worship a Jew. Like Jesus was a Jew based on the context of the literature, based on how they interpret it, right? So he say, I worship a Jew, which is a fucking really deep sentiment at the end of the day, anyways, because that they have y'all so lost to the point that y'all think that y'all worshiping you worshiping Jesus, Yeshua, whatever fucking name and title they want to put on it, as a Messiah, the only way to heaven and shit like that. But the funny thing about it is your mind, when you think about nationality, race, and shit like that, your mind automatically go to Middle Eastern Orthodox Jew. That's the shit that your mind immediately go to. You get what I'm saying? Based upon how this shit has been, the trickle down effect of how this shit has been implanted in y'all's mind in that type of way to make you be worshiping Jewish concepts and shit like that, and worshiping whatever idea that a Jew can come up with at the end of the day. You get what I'm saying? So that's what the Christian was saying to him. I worship a Jew. So y'all need to pay attention to that aspect of things. Like, this content don't be being pushed out for no reason. You get what I'm saying? Like, these are the shit that I'm speaking on, these two pieces of content that I just referred to. These are like shit that's pretty like high up there in the algorithm. Cause I be like exploring the algorithm and see what they be pushing at the moment, and see what gravitates attention and what people be paying attention to at the moment based on what narrative they're trying to push at the moment. So these pieces that I'm referring to are like very high up there in views, very high up there in likes and shit. But it's not accidents. It's something that's truly going on behind the scenes. And shit, I experienced some shit last night that I was already in the mind frame of thinking like, yeah, there's no such thing as a coincidence. But now I'm like even deeper into that, as far as there's no such thing as a coincidence. Like, everything really do be happening for a reason. Nothing really happened by accident or mistake, even down to the certain thought forms and feelings that you be having at certain times. You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing happens by accident. So therefore, with that being said, you could put two and two together and follow the trail of breadcrumbs and see that the people that was making y'all's Bibles are the Jews and are the scared individuals, the insecure individuals. So that's what we're viewing at the moment. And that's also why you will have certain shit in your Bible to try to teach you to kind of learn to stray away from being insecure anyways. Certain shit like when it'll tell you don't be afraid to preach the gospel or some shit like that. Like, don't be afraid, even if you're getting attacked by sword and knife. Like, don't be afraid to call on the name of Jesus in front of people and let people know that you praise Jesus and shit like that. That's that shit trying to correct it. That's that shit trying to take you out of the insecurity. Because the people, whenever the people who really know how to interpret the Bible be reading those certain passages and shit like that, they be taking it in a different type of way. They don't be taking it how y'all be thinking it, as far as, oh, I need to go out on the street and I need to set up this little kiosk on the side of the city road and shit like that, and start bringing the Bible out and street preaching to homeless people and shit like that. Like, nah, they don't be taking it in the same type of aspect like that. It's more so about frequency and vibration. So however they thinking and however they feeling at the moment is something that they don't need to give a fuck what anybody else think about it. They just need to go ahead and express that shit and get it over with, create what they gonna create, or reap the benefits or reap the suffering off of whatever it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? But that's how y'all religions really be. So let's actually get into the main topic of the video. that was just some shit that I was breaking down based on fucking some shit that I've been seeing, some shit that, you know, whatever is what it is. On to the next piece of information. I'm going to take a little bit of a breather here and hit me some fucking dab cart and just breathe for a second while we transition into the next piece of content. Shout out to Famous Milo as well. Welcome everybody into the chat. Welcome everybody into the motherfucking chat. Something popping up on my computer. I don't know what it is. Oh, that's that weird window that keep popping up. Anybody know anything about computers, man? Y'all shoot me some information, bro. I got a tab in the background that that keep popping up that won't stop. Like even when I'm trying to play like my video game or some shit, it'll like alt tab me out of the video game and show that. And it just happened randomly. Like it don't happen all the time. It really don't happen all the time, but it just happened randomly. So anybody know anybody know anything about computers? Hit my motherfucking phone up. Anybody know anything about computers? Hit my phone up. Hit me in them DMs. I put my IG in the link. About said I put my IG in the Cash App. But no, I put my IG in the description. Put my IG in the description. I put my IG in the description. If you need me, hit me up. You know what I'm saying? Hit me up with them fucking computer skills. I know I can attract some fucking nerds who know some coding or some shit. I could take this little $600 fucking PC, upgrade it in some type of way. Y'all motherfuckers, I know somebody gonna teach me something out here. You know what I'm saying? I can't be the only one. Somebody gonna teach me something out this bit. But anyways, now that we've gotten our a little bit of a breather out the way. Now, time to make a pivot. Let's transition into the main topic of the video. You know what I'm saying? So, last time, whenever we was on here, right, we was explaining to y'all, and anybody who's watching this video right now, you need some more context. Go to the last 2 live streams that I uploaded. They're titled Luciferianism, Demonology, and Satanism. There's 2 parts. My fucking PC has shut down in the middle of making part 1. So there's 2 parts, but go watch that video. It'll give you a little bit more context. But we at the tip of this piece right here, we gonna also get a little bit more in depth with the breakdowns that I was giving y'all before, right? But we gonna speak on how to actually get the practical application out of whatever religion that you're into. And if you're not a person who is into religion and you're more of an individual, you're more of a spiritual person like me, just understand that you can utilize these things as tools if you want to, or you can be a stronger person and be a true individual and create these aspects for yourself. Give it your own face, give it your own name and title, give it your own, you know what I'm saying, and create characters within yourself based upon whatever virtues and principles that you want to play out, and however your morality compass lead you, and whatever lines you're saying in reality. So we're going to explain to y'all what y'all's religions was actually made for in the first place, right? So a lot of people will tell you that that religion and shit like that is a means of control, even when we get down into Luciferianism, even when we get down into Satanism, because a good portion of the world will view Satanism and Luciferianism as being a little bit more of free spirits and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Just because they don't exactly pull the same type of tide that Christianity pulls, right? And Luciferianism and Satanism is based on self, so it alludes to more freedom and doing shit however the fuck you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people would think that that they're more free spirits because of that. And people would think that religions like Muslimism and fucking Judaism and Christianity and shit like that are more constricting and more restrictive due to you having to uphold a lot of shit, due to the way that you have to correlate your life, the way that certain religions make you have specific times of the day that you need to pray on some shit, give you specific times of the day when you're supposed to eat certain diets, shit that you're not supposed to eat and shit like that. So people will view it as more constricting in that type of aspect, and think that a Luciferian or a Satanist type of person would be more of a free spirit. But that's not what these things were made for in the first place. This all come to humans using their mind for shit that it's not made for. What these religions were actually made for in the beginning, all of this shit that we see now is like a trickle down after effect. Like, this is just some shit that happened because the people who were creating this shit in the first place realized, like, oh fuck, these people are gonna be that dumb to the point where they gonna allow us to be worshipped in that type of way and allow us to be their priests and shit like that, and we the only ones who know this language and this oral tradition. These motherfuckers don't even know how to read the Bible and da 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 da, like that shit. All right, then we gonna do it that way. Yeah, all that shit is like after the fact. Whatever type of religious construct you see now is after the fact, and that's just due to humans using their mind for shit it ain't made for, and being delusional and making up shit, and being in fairy tale land whenever it comes to how we're viewing things and shit like that, and forgetting that we actually need to be able to see how shit would play out in reality beyond fucking, you know what I'm saying, beyond just some imaginary shit that we can come up with and think about, you know what I'm saying, or what we can dream about, or what we think the universe is about, and what we're viewing. Because as far as like the universe and the stars and the planets and shit like that, because it seems like it's so far out of reach, so it feels like it needs to be some type of wispy type of fucking dream imagination type of shit, right? But what these things were actually made for in the first place is a means to develop your character, and to develop characters, to be able to have and a lot of y'all might take this as sounding crazy or some shit like that, but as a means to have like multiple personalities. And I don't mean that in like the way of how like a medical terminology and definition might say that having multiple personalities, whatever that may mean. Just, I'm talking about developing different characteristics and traits, being strong on certain virtues and principles based on your experiences and the wisdom that you carry through this life, right? So that's what this shit was actually made for in the first place. They just started giving the shit names and titles and started making images based on it, and started scribing shit and writing shit down based on this shit, right? So at first it was just something that they were, well, thinking about first, obviously having visions about, imagining about first, right? What can I develop within myself with these tools and this blood flow and this essence that I have within me? What can I what can I what can I make out of that? What can I shape up and form out of that? What type of face can I make out of that? So, and it's always about encapsulating some type of energy. It's always about, it's like emojis. Like, really, if that's how y'all want to think about it, like, really, it's like emojis. It's like encapsulating a certain expression based on the virtue and principle and the characteristics and traits it take to be able to move in that type of way, and it just hit, and it's like, I don't know, I can't explain that shit. I okay, I'm not even okay, just rewind that. Okay, it's like emojis. What they're doing is developing characteristics and traits off of their virtues and principles, and making a face out of it, a image out of it, making it to be able to be seen for something, right? So it first start like that, and then it become an expression down here. It becomes some way that you can be. It becomes some way that you can act out, right? Because we can only display certain energies one after the other, right? But yeah, it become an expression, and then after that, that's when you start to see things like actual keyboard getting made out of whatever it took to imagine and think keyboard and become the virtue and principle of that, and become the characteristics and traits that it take to express the idea of, hey, I'm going to make something that do this and have these keys on it and these little button finger presses that you can click up and down and make the words pop out on the screen and shit like that. Whatever it took for that. You see the image, then you see the expression, and then you start to see things like prototypes starting to be developed and shit like that. Things like roads starting to be paved and shit like that. Things like chemical compounds being put together to make a certain type of mixture that could be something that's called bleach, or something that's called a fucking pine saw cleaning wood for your floors. So that's what we're actually viewing at the moment. And that's where I'm talking about humans be using their mind for shit it ain't made for, instead of y'all taste to it and what it would appear like internally, esoterically, and then also in the external world. Now you think that that is some type of actual being that needs to be praised at the moment. Whether we're talking about God, Jesus, Yeshua, whether we're talking about the devil, Lucifer, Satan, whether we're talking about Beelzebub, whether we're talking about the bitch, the succubus, the fucking whatever the female demon name is, whatever the fuck we talking about, it's all the same shit. All this shit is a frequency and vibration that you develop within yourself. And what it does is it entices your chakras. And then what that does is it trickles down and it entices your organs, and you start to develop certain blood flows. And then that starts to seep out through your brain, your mind, your eyeballs, your mouth particles, your fucking arms, and how they move around and shit. Because only you can move that way, right? Only you can move that way based on that idea that you have developed, right? So that's what we're actually viewing at the moment. When it comes to religion was not made for y'all to be praising shit like that. They just took that shit and ran with it because y'all kind of just laid it up in their lap like that. Like y'all was eating that shit up so much to the point y'all was developing y'all's own imaginations based off that shit, and started taking these images and shit like that, whether it be a cross, whether it be a image of a certain demon, whether it be a fucking Baphomet goat, whether it be a pentagram, whether it be whatever the fuck it is. Y'all would take that shit home, set it on the fucking pedestal somewhere on a high shelf or some shit, and light some candles around it and get on your knees. And you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that's what's really going on. They just took the shit and ran with it and started making personified characters out of this shit, when it's something that you're supposed to be using as a tool to let you know when you necessarily doing right or doing wrong. And that's where people get the lines fucked up, because this shit, a lot of people are trained, and I think a lot of people are just dumbass that way just naturally as spirits, to the point where they need to follow some shit, right? So these people will develop this shit for you, right? And you still need to be led, though. So you can't even take it as the tool that it's supposed to be, and you would have to if you even do start to get into it in that aspect, you would have to be somebody who has to test shit out, because you don't lean on your own understanding. That's why they even started to come up with certain verses in the Bible and certain terminologies telling y'all, lean not unto thine own understanding. Lean unto the understanding of Jesus, bitch. Lean unto the understanding of fucking God, bitch. You know what I'm saying? In their aspect, which is their mind frame, how they developed it, how they think about things, how they squared out the entire fucking earth. Because y'all got to think about this shit back in the day when it was just land masses and shit like that. These people were viewing what the Native Americans was doing, as far as how they were able to do things inside themselves to make the land better, to make the crops grow, to be able to have of fucking bean soup and fucking, you know what I'm saying, to be able to have all these plants, be able to grow their marijuana and shit like that. They was peeping game of the Native Americans in that aspect. So where this shit all started from was them coming over here on this land and doing that shit and being like, damn, seeing what type of characteristics and traits and what type of character they need to develop to be able to go home and do the same type of shit, right? So they would go home and do the same type of shit, but they get extra deep with it, right? So they get to the point where they start squaring out land masses and taking out the curvature of the earth and making it more boxed in and squared in, even when it was in the first place, when they was just doing maps and shit like that. Like this is real understanding right here. Like y'all cannot negate this shit. Back when they was doing maps and shit like that, before anything, it started there. It started in their imagination when they was viewing what the Native Americans was doing, trying to copy that shit, and they started doing it to the extreme level and making shit extra logic and reasoning out and putting left brain shit onto everything. So they started making maps. That's where topographical maps and every map come from. It come from them observing the water flow and the land masses in specific areas, and they started to develop more squareness out of that, and it squared out their mind frame. It squared out everything within them. So it make them super rigid to the point where everything can't just be round and flow together how it's supposed to, and everything just spiral. Now it's got to be a thing where they get extremely rigid. They get extremely 90-degree angle. All of a sudden they fucking turn on you for no reason and shit like that. And then that's when you start to get invasions and shit like that. That's when you get, you know what I'm saying? Because if y'all take a look at topographical maps and shit like that anyways, what it's doing is observing the curvature of the earth. Whenever you look at a topographical map and you view a tall mountain or some shit like that, the highest peak of the mountain is not a triangle or not a peak exactly. You know what I'm saying? Even if it is some mountains that are extremely sharp, like whatever mountains we have in America that's extremely sharp at the tips. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a circle at the top of that. Not exactly a circle, more of like an oblong shape, but y'all get what I'm saying. And it just do that all the way down the whole path of the mountain. It's tracking the curvature of the earth. And then they square it out and put a gridding system on it. And then that's when you start to get like how we need to start taking over territories. Because we drew these lines in the sand, but we don't have this same type of roundness in this area. We don't have this same type of water flow in this area. We need this land over here. This is where we need to be at. And what we can do is some of the Indians that really fuck with us, we can let them continue to live on this land and continue to develop shit how they develop shit based on their internal, and continue to keep the curvature going while we meanwhile still come in this bitch and square everything out. That's why even since I was a young boy, everything I've been saying been coming true. That's why since I was a young boy, I would be riding in the woods with my grandparents at like fucking 7, 8 years old, riding with my dad and be like, it makes trees, all this water is gonna be gone. City. If shit continue the way it is. You know what I'm saying? If shit continue the way it is. But anyways, that's just more context to give y'all on the religious aspect. That this is what we're viewing right now. This is how the people who created y'all's religions was viewing things to create these concepts in the first place. And now you in 2024 thinking that you worshiping a God and thinking that you worshiping Jesus, and you thinking that you worshiping a Satan or thinking that you worshiping a Lucifer, and these is just all concepts that the people who created this shit came up with, and it's all just characteristics and traits that they were observing from other individuals and seeing the suffering that they were going through based on that, or shit that they had developed themselves and seen that it worked for them in some type of way. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you just sucking some Mason's dick, some Jewish person's dick. And this shit will never stop until the day that y'all realize that. So, like I said, if you're a person who's not very wise, you would have to be somebody who have to test this shit out if you want to get into this shit, get into shit in the correct type of aspect. You would have to be out and about testing out certain characteristics and traits, and testing out certain morality systems, and testing out certain characters and expressions and shit that you can play out based on whatever you read in the Bible or whatever type of book that you want to fucking be into. Whatever you want to be, a book you want to be a part of that got the best characters that resonate with you. You know what I'm saying? But if you're a wise person who know how to lean onto your own understanding and your own intuition, and you can feel what's right for you and ain't right for you and shit like that, you don't even have to read a book. You can just develop your own characteristics and traits at that point. There's no need for that shit. But if you're a person who still in 2024 need to be led and shit like that, and need to be shown how to have character and have some type of unique individual expression and shit like that, then you would have to be a person who's going to have to continue to read the book. But what y'all need to understand is we never needed that shit. That was something that they came up with, and it started working because people is just as weak back then as they are weak right now. That's why now we in that's why now we in the fucking imagination station. You know what I'm saying? That's why now we in the imagination station. And everybody is lost in some form of delusion and think that it's reality just because what majority has made acceptable. But it's never been a day when I've seen any of y'all shit actually play out in real life, in the aspect of how majority of the world want to kick that shit. Like y'all be thinking religion was made for Bible. I've heard a lot of people say this before leaving Earth, right? Bible. Now, that's kind of a good statement, because if you're reading the Bible in the correct type of aspect, in the right context, you're gonna realize, like, yeah, this just be the characteristics and traits. This should be what everybody expressing. This should be what everybody doing right now, and what they was doing back then. That's all that is. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're gonna realize. But anyways, man, I think that's pretty much the end of this one, bro. I've given y'all some good context. A lot of people think religion be made for let's get a group of people together. You know what I'm saying? Basic instructions before leaving Earth. We supposed to get this 144,000 people together, or whatever it may be. We supposed to gather these individuals, and we supposed to go against the world in some type of way. In that type of aspect. I don't know. I don't get it, bro. Y'all be lost. I can't tell you